Shalom, everybody, to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad and believers in the Master. Welcome to Hidden Manna. Hi, guys. I'm Shepherd Dave Sain, Senior Shepherd here at LMC. It's Friday night. It's time for Hidden Manna. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We sincerely appreciate it. Of course, tonight's a conversation. It's just a conversation. Two guys hanging out, just sharing some things about Abba's Word. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the conversation. I don't do this by myself, of course. I've got my dear brother, Brother Max, and let me get him in here. Hey, Ben. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I just speaking to everybody that's thank you for everybody that's joining, everybody that's on already. Thank you guys so much for all your prayers for my back. I'm probably around 65, maybe 70% better. Still hurting a little bit. This was a bad one this time. I was really out. I was laid out in the bed the whole week. Honestly, today's really the first day that I've been out of bed. But I wanted to do tonight because we missed last week.
I know.
I missed Wednesday. I felt so bad. But thank you, everybody. Thank you for your prayers, and I sincerely appreciate it. And day by day, hopefully I'll be better for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But what's up, brother?
Not much, man. Hey, like that shirt, bro.
Right.
Same one.
Oh yeah.
Same one. Wait.
I know Michelle's gonna probably be on. Thank you, Michelle. Awesome shirt. It says Torah. This is how I roll. It's got the Torah scroll.
That's awesome. I know.
Yeah, awesome. I thought I got it the other day, and at first I'm looking at the name, I'm like, oh, man, who is this? And then I realized right away, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call and say anything. I figured we wear it tonight.
Yep.
And show it tonight. But thank you so much, Michelle.
Our standard Friday uniform here.
Yeah, right. Right. And it's the LMC colors. You got the black one.
Yeah.
I got the LMC colors.
Yep. See, so if anyone wants to send us shirts, we'll wear them on Friday night.
We'll advertise. Yeah, you want to put some commercials on it?
Put your business on the sleeve. That'd be funny.
Ever see all those YouTube things that we'll advertise for gold?
Yep. And they get you right in the middle of their podcast. They'll do the commercial, so you're like,
yeah.
You know.
Yep. And you can't skip through it.
Yep. You can't skip it over. That's funny. But good to see you, bro. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. Yeah.
I'm about 65, maybe 70% there. I'm still got to be careful. Another couple of days. But I just wanted to make it for this weekend. I wanted to make it for today, but
I hear you.
And it's crazy, man. You know what I did? I went to the gym. This didn't happen in the gym. It wasn't weightlifting or anything like that. Went to the sauna, did the whole thing in the sauna, came out, got changed, and I bent down to pick up my socks.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it, man. And honestly, it took me a while to walk out of that gym.
Mm-hmm.
But if I hadn't worked out all of the, months and months that I've been working on the core.
Makes a big difference, yeah.
Because I guess my core was strong enough, I just tightened up my belt and tightened up my stomach and just crawled. I didn't crawl. I just shuffled my way out because I did not want to be taken out by ambulance.
Good thing you didn't bump into someone you knew and they wanted to talk.
Oh yeah, they start talking. I'm like, oh no,
I'm in so much pain. Like, that pastor, he's so nasty.
Oh man, I made it home. Got through the door, went right in the bed, and I didn't leave that bed till this morning.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, we both, it was both of our last week. After I had that cold, real quick, I have a deviated septum. So whenever I get like a congestion, every year when I get that one bad cold, it turns into a sinus infection because I don't drain properly.
Oh, man.
And I tell you, bro.
I don't like summer colds.
I felt like someone kicked me in the face, man. The pain was like in my upper teeth, under your eye. And
we're men, so we're wimps. Yep. We're wimpy.
I really am, man.
Women aren't wimpy.
I hate pain.
Men are wimpy. We get
my
sick.
wife is like, breaks her arm, just rolls it up. That's like the old school football players. Remember, like LT? These guys play with broken arms. Now these guys go on the DL with a hangnail.
No. Karen too, man. She could have a surgery in the morning, and the next day she's out doing whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we all know that about Karen. Yeah, so, we see that, right?
But not me, man. I'm a wimp.
Nope.
I'm a wimp.
As long as you can milk it, right?
Oh yeah, we milk it. Absolutely.
Amy says it all the time. How come when you're sick, I have to help you, but even when I'm sick, I still got to cook breakfast for the kids.
That is just the nature of man.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
We missed last week. Mm-hmm. We had a different topic for last week, and then we changed the topic again for this week. But before we can jump into the topic, bro, our world is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy what's going on out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, man.
Between Bangladesh, France, England, Russia, Ukraine,
Yeah,
Venezuela,
Middle East.
Middle East, here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know, the winds and waves are
Yep.
roaring, right? Men's hearts failing them.
And Brother Paul just sent us a little thing right before we went on with, I think the WHO now is, the WHO orders the governments to prepare for a mega lockdowns due to the deadly monkeypox strain.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yep.
I don't know if people are going to fall for that again.
Nope.
And
we are on YouTube, so everyone, if you want the real facts, just look up how monkeypox is transmitted, and you'll see why it's.
Yeah, we can't even say it on YouTube because
Yeah.
we'll get banned.
Yep.
For sure. But I mean, they're just looking for an excuse at this point. The propaganda is just it's just nonstop. You know, it's absolutely everywhere. And you know what? I think it was Obama. I think Obama's the one that changed the law, because even though they did it, obviously you get propaganda from the news all the time, even before Obama. But Obama changed the law, and he made it. It was illegal to point propaganda at the American public. Like, you know, the CIA can go out and they can, you know, try to topple another government with propaganda and color revolutions and all the rest of that. But you weren't allowed to do it here in the States. And for some reason, the president of the United States thought it was a good idea that you can push propaganda to the American people. And boy, are we getting it.
Yep. Yeah.
Boy, are we getting it. And it's scary. It's I want to say it is scary. It is scary. It's scary what's going on. Who knows what's going to happen.
And if you don't believe it, look what they said about, we won't say the name, but one candidate about a month ago, and then within the past 2 weeks, that one person's the best thing since apple pie, right?
Oh, the propaganda on that is just and the other candidate you can't even find on Google. They erased them. Totally erased. So it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad. But hey, you know, this is where we are. This is the time that we're living in. Every generation of believers has had to imagine living in Rome. You know, imagine living at the fall of Jerusalem. Imagine living at the seas of Constantinople. Yeah. Imagine living when the barbarians, the Huns, were at the gate.
Seriously, man.
Oh my goodness. No.
I think I'd still, I guess, pick where we are right now. Right?
Yeah. And you just go forward in history from that time. And has there ever been a good time? No, not really. Actually, I think we've probably had the most prosperous, peaceful time in our history. I mean, it's only been 60, 70 years. And even in that, we've had wars. But here as a nation, we've just been so separated from, from all the stuff that's going on in the world. There is no, well, I guess maybe there's still some World War II people, maybe old timers still alive, maybe, possibly, that could, remember that time. But even World War II, America was safe, right? There was an ocean.
Yeah, two oceans on this.
The war was over there. But so we've had a generation, just grow up in relative peace, and we have no idea of what suffering could really be. And and that peace is only going to last so long.
Yeah,
and history repeats
even
itself.
with food, right? Food. Americans have never known what it's been to
be hungry,
be without, be hungry.
Yeah.
As a nation, there are families that suffer, but as a nation, no, we don't know.
Oh my goodness, we get upset if the Wi-Fi goes off.
Yeah, seriously, man. I was just saying, we lost our Wi-Fi a couple of days ago watching the movie with Josiah and went out. I called up cable company and everything. I was like, "What's up?
What are we doing?" Right? Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so tonight, guys, we're gonna the title for tonight is "The Cherub That Covereth." We're gonna talk about the enemy, Satan, Lucifer, and some really interesting. Again, this is just a conversation. So we're just gonna spitball together. We're just throwing out some ideas. We're trying to give you as much scriptural background to it to kind of show you why we've come to these particular thoughts or conclusions. But it's just a conversation. It's just a conversation.
Things that you think
not
about
doctrine.
in your head, right?
Yeah.
As you read the scripture and you just start to ponder in your mind, like, I wonder, stuff like that.
What's that? This one, things that make you go, right? So that's what this is. And if we uncover something hidden, even better.
Yep.
Even better. So tonight we're going to start off in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 11. And let me just bring this down. Give me just 1 second, guys. The book of Ezekiel and chapter 11.
Yeah, verse 11, chapter 28.
There we go. Chapter 28, excuse me, and verse 11. And just for some context, this is obviously the book of Ezekiel, and judgment is being called out on multiple nations. And yet while he's talking to the nations, when you read what the judgment is, you begin to realize that he's not only talking to the king of Babylon or the king of whatever. In this case, it happens to be the king of Tyre. It goes. What the prophet is saying goes far beyond the king of Tyre. It becomes
Dual
a prophecy.
prophecy, yeah.
It's a dual prophecy. So it means something historical. It was to that people. But then as you're reading through it, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This is way beyond the king of Tyre. And you get that in Isaiah 14 when he's talking to the king of Babylon. Right, and he's talking about the judgment of the king of Babylon. And as you go through Isaiah 14, he finally gets to the point where he's talking about to Lucifer, the son of the crescent. Right, talking to Lucifer, the son of the crescent. That you fell, and in your heart was sin, and you wanted to be like Elohim. He was going to sit on the sides of the north, and all of a sudden you're realizing it goes from he's talking to the king of Babylon, and you realize, oh my goodness, no, he's talking to Lucifer.
Yeah.
He's talking to Lucifer, and what Lucifer, and it really is sort of attached to Ezekiel 28, because you read Isaiah 14, it really is sort of comparable. It's like, it's another piece of the puzzle of this particular story, the story of Satan. And I know people say, well, what do we want to know about Satan for? Well, it is important, because I think, as we go through it and just, sort of spitball through it and, talk it over, see what we see, what Abba opens up our eyes to. There's more to this story. Yeah. There's more to this story, and it's part of the bigger story, and so that's why we do it. We want to understand the bigger story.
And going back, we see a lot of the dual stuff, even in the Book of Psalms, right?
Oh yeah,
with King David, they are messianic prophecies, but right?
Yeah. Psalms, everything. I mean, what did Messiah say? Search the
think
word, search the Torah. You think
speak about me? Yeah.
Everything speaks. So, but it doesn't only speak about him; it speaks about the whole story. That's the amazing part. That's what I find absolutely mind-boggling about Father's Word. I truly do. I find that absolutely mind-boggling. That it has these dual movies. Hold on a second. Sorry. So here we are. Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 11, and of course we're reading out of the Scriptures version, the 2009. There's an earlier version of the Scriptures. I think it's.
Prior to the 2009?
Yeah, there was another one. I forgot what the year was. There's another one. It is a little bit different. They redid it, with definitions and stuff. But so here it is. It says, "And the word of Yahuwah," that is Yod He Vav He, or Yod He Wav He, "and the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation for the king of Tyre." Now, obviously, it's Tsor, but we would know it as Tyre. "And you shall say to him, Thus says the Master Yahuwah, you were the sealing up a pattern, complete in wisdom and perfect in loveliness." Now, this is let me do this real quick for you guys. I want to see this in a little bit different version, just so we can get I'm going to use a American Standard and verse 11, so you guys can see just a little bit different here. Here it is again. "Son of man, take up a lamentation. Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom, perfect in beauty. Thou wast in the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering. The sardis, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and the gold." Let me go back to the 2009. And what I want you guys to notice here, because it appears in multiple versions.
I got the NIV, so if you want to stick with the Scriptures, you want me to pick a different, to go back and forth? What were you just reading from?
I was on verse, read verse 11 to 13.
From what, King James? Or?
It doesn't matter, whatever. I just want people to hear a couple of different versions.
Okay, so, from verse 13, brother?
Sure.
Okay, "You were in Eden, the garden of Elohim. Every precious stone was your covering: the sardius, topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and jasper, sapphire, the turquoise, the emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day that you were created. Now, can I just pause there for a sec?
Yeah.
So, I remember just growing up, and I think everyone that's listening can I guess, relate, or has someone told us that, Satan was the worship leader, right, in heaven. He was in charge of music, and that's why music today is, you can't listen to secular music because Satan's in charge of all music.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, I remember that back in the days in Shirley. At Shirley.
I mean, and it was it was gospel. Like it didn't say it in the scripture anywhere.
And the funny thing is, we read it, right? And the preacher, I'm talking about, would say that, and we'd be like, oh yeah, he's got timbrels and this and that, and we just assume, he's a leader of worship. Yeah. And then I was all upset about about music from that point on.
Yep. And it's crazy because the word timbrels, it does mean to beat a drum or a tambourine, and that's the Hebrew word 8596 toph. But pipes, this is where I used to hear it, like, oh, his body was pipes and he was like a living organ, like the organ pipes in a church.
Right.
And that word pipes is the Hebrew word 5345 nekar. It means a bezel, a groove, a socket, a hole, cavity settings for stones. So what did we just read? What was his coverings on his body, right? It went through all those, I just lost the, what was it again, brother? The sapphire, right? The emerald, the diamonds.
Precious stones, ruby,
precious
topaz,
stones.
diamond, beryl, shoham, jasper, sapphire, turquoise, emerald, and gold.
Yep. So that's what the pipes were. That's what held all those stones on his body.
So basically, he's wearing a big gold chain.
Yeah.
Right. He's wearing a big gold chain that's got rubies, and it's made out of gold, and and not saying it is, but it's very similar to the priest's breastplate. Yeah, it does kind of sound like that, right?
A couple of different stones, but that are missing because there's 12, one for each tribe, right?
Right. There's not 12 here, is there?
There's not 12 there. I think there's 10.
Ruby, topaz, diamond, beryl, shoham. I don't even know what that is. Jasper, sapphire, turquoise, emerald. So that's 9, and then gold. So I'm assuming the gold is the setting for everything.
Yeah, that probably held like the socket that held all the. So there's only 9. So.
Because gold, I guess gold is a stone.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're saying it was like these things were in a socket, not a timbrel, meaning or pipes, meaning like he's playing the bagpipes or something like that.
As he talks, he's not breathing like he's a bagpipe. Yeah,
right. So this has absolutely nothing to do with music, then.
Nothing. No, nothing.
So I can listen to my hip hop.
I'm not saying to go listen to
house music.
Yeah, right. Depends what you're doing. It's hard to work out to set apart music when you're trying to I'm not gonna lie.
It just doesn't work at the gym, bro.
Yeah.
You can't listen to worship at the gym. It's just not. You got to listen to rock or something with a fast beat.
Yeah.
It just you can't get psyched up on that.
It just keeps you motivated. Yeah, it's true. All right. So what do we have? 14.
14.
Okay, and it says, and you were the anointed cherub who covers. And then I'll stop at this so you can elaborate. You were the anointed cherub that covers. I established you. You were on the holy mountain of Elohim, and you walked back and forth in the midst of the fiery stones.
That's kind of, I mean, think about that for a second. He's a cherub, right? And, where we see cherubs is in the throne room. And I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, because even with the fiery stones, I looked it up. There's no other reference of fiery stones anywhere in the scripture, but there are 2 places that it mentions coals of fire, which especially when you hear the account. So do you want to pull up while I keep this open? Ezekiel 10 verses 1 and 2. And of course, both accounts are in Ezekiel as well.
Ezekiel 10, 1 and 2. It says, and I looked and I saw the expanse that was above the head of the cherubim. So he's having a vision of the throne room, right? Like a sapphire stone, having the appearance of the likeness of a throne. And he spoke to the man clothed with linen and said, Go in among the wheels under the cherub and fill your hands with the coals of fire among the cherubim and scatter over the city. And he went before my eyes. So, okay. That's what you're saying.
And then also if Ezekiel 1, chapter 1, verse 13.
Give me a second. Ezekiel 1 and verse 13.
Yes.
All right. Here's Scripture's version. It says, In the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of... So the living creatures he's talking about are cherubim.
Yeah.
Their appearance was like the coals of fire and like the appearance of torches, moving back and forth among the living creatures. And the fire was bright, and out of the fire went lightning. And the living creatures ran back and forth like the appearance of flashing lightning.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the whole wheel within a wheel.
Within a wheel, yeah. Yep. All the eyes on
the whole Mazzaroth thing. And
yeah.
So definitely, I mean, the cherubim are obviously connected with the whole concept of the fire, the burning coals of fire.
Yeah, and what did it say in verse 12? The same verse we just read. He was on the holy mountain of Elohim.
Oh, let me go back to Ezekiel 28.
14.
Ezekiel 28. Let me jump back there. Yeah, it says, you were the anointed cherub that covers. And you know what? That word covered, did I write down I wrote down the definition. I don't know if I wrote down the actual, I didn't write down the number. The number. You guys can look this up. Just you've got a concordance. You can look up that particular word. He's the cherub who covereth, and that word covereth means to protect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not the same word as to atone.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the same word for covering, because that's what atoning is. It's to cover, but it does mean to protect. So you sort of get the idea that this cherub, Lucifer, that's what we're talking about. This cherub had a job, and his job was evidently he's not wearing the outfit of the high priest. But if all the other outfits are similar, you know, and shows their status, he's covered in these beautiful jewels, and he's walking at the throne room.
Yeah, and that's not where every angel has access to. You know that in Enoch.
No.
Yeah. This is a big figurehead, big time. But okay, brother. So 15, right?
Yeah.
And this is So you were perfect in your ways from the day that you were created, till iniquity was found in you. And it says, by the abundance of your trading, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned.
Yeah, therefore, that's a little deceiving. I looked that word up too, because I'm reading. I'm saying, you're trading. What is he trading? Right? It's a little bit deceiving. It means his iniquity.
Yeah.
It's by the abundance of your the actions that you're doing that are in opposition to Abba's will. So he does something, right? He does something. Now, of course, we got to connect this with the rest of the story. You know, you go to Enoch and you connect it to the rest of the story, and what the other angels are doing, the fallen ones, right? The watchers that fall, and the Nephilim and all of that. I wonder if the trading that he's talking about, if the iniquity, if the giving of something has to do with the story of Enoch. Because what do the watchers do when they get here?
Yeah.
They start teaching things, right? They start giving things, and they start getting back things too, right? The women, and I'm not saying it is. I'm just like I said, just thinking out loud.
Just a conversation, yeah. Because what other you read this and you're just like, whoa, it gets those wheels going. No pun intended there, but it really does. Those wheels within a wheel.
No, for sure.
And then 16 by the we got and you sinned. Therefore,
hold on a second. So it says, so I thrust you from the mountain of Elohim, and I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. So the question I got to ask is: are we reading what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Or are we reading?
When does this account? Yeah.
Yeah. When does this? Because if this is Lucifer, right? Well, who knows? Maybe this is another cherub. Because there's other cherubs that the angels were locked up,
Yeah.
The angels, according to Enoch, they were locked up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Was it for like seven? How many generations was it?
uh,
70?
I
70?
I don't even remember, but it's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could refer to that, whatever. If we're actually talking about Lucifer, or we're talking about some other cherub that loses his place.
Yeah.
But
You know who did a study on that? You know, when they're locked up, that they found that the year of their release was in the late 1800s. And there's a brother, we talked about him. Oh, what's that? We had some balloons go over.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know what that is, man.
I didn't do that.
Me either. I'm not touching that. I got my phone in my hand. That's funny.
Oh, you know what? That might be PM.
Okay.
So I can send out hearts. I don't know if the hearts are coming up. I don't know if you guys can see the hearts.
That's
They're
funny.
coming up.
But he was saying though, and how ironic, that's when the our industry picked up, because before that, look how everything was so basic. Technology.
Yeah.
We didn't have an explosion with technology, because what did they do? Like you said,
Yeah,
they
you think
taught
about
man. They taught man the ways of war, how to make weapons. Women how to, beautify themselves to attract men. All these things that they weren't supposed to do. And when they were, that's something to think about. I'm not saying
that's one of those things that make you go, I mean, I don't know the math. I didn't do the math. I don't know, what the time frame is. But I'm just assuming that this individual is correct. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. Of course, because you know what you hear from. I've actually heard this before, that it was aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens came and began to give man technology. And you know what? I mean, again, it's just a conversation. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the future, near future, something like that happens. Of course, do I think it would be aliens? No, I think it would be
the Watchers. Yeah,
the Watchers. I think that's what we're going to look at. But that's another. But yeah, it's interesting because from the 1800s, we've been from I guess our early beginning, at least beginning of Egypt, or really the beginning of Babel, until about the 1800s, we didn't get much further than the wheel.
Yeah, nothing really changed. Yeah,
we were still using a horse and a cart. And then all of a sudden, the 1800s, we've got the locomotive, we've got steamboats, we've got war, world wars, right? World wars. We've got guns, and quickly we move into the industrial age, and working, and the pollution, and and the more wars, and it hasn't stopped. It's just more and more and more wars. And what do we do today? Technology has boomed. Of course, we benefit from all the technology. We're using it here to talk to people, but the same technology is being used to GPS bombs. To hit a particular target, and people are dying all over this planet. And so it's not that far out there.
No.
Again, things that make you go,
True. All right. So we're destroyed you, or covering Cherub from the midst of the fiery stones. And again, right, the fiery stones, that's referencing that throne room.
Whoever this angel was, and I keep saying Lucifer. I say it because that seems to be definitely the story of Isaiah 14. But we can't really assume it. It just tells us the cherub that covers. The one who was supposed to protect did the opposite. I wonder if what he was supposed to protect was humanity.
Wow. Yeah. And instead,
I wonder if what he was supposed to protect was humanity, and instead the story of Enoch comes, and it, everything just gets topsy-turvy. So when he says, because it says, and I destroyed you, right? So we know that Satan isn't really right until
he
gets kicked out too, but he doesn't get kicked out till post resurrection. But it seems like whoever this cherub is, because that's past tense.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the English translation is accurate. It's correct. I'm just obviously we don't have access or the ability or knowledge to look at the original, or the original language, but I'm assuming, and I destroyed you.
Not will, not
will, not in the future.
Your fate is this or that,
So verse 17.
We're on 17, right? Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. And then I cast you to the ground. And again, he's speaking in past tense. I cast you to the ground, and I laid you before kings that they might gaze at you.
See,
Wow.
this sounds similar to
Mhm.
Isaiah. Here, this particular
This
part
is the one who, when they
sounds
see
similar,
Satan,
right,
yeah.
to the one who proclaims himself Elohim. Sits on the mount of the congregation. Isaiah 14, verse 12. Because it says something similar that at the end the world is going to look and say, "You're
This
the
is
one?
the one, yeah." Really?
you did it. We followed. This is why we've done what we've done.
Yeah.
So, but again,
Still just speculation. With just it's interesting.
Could he also though be speaking about the Watchers being thrown out and punished before men? And so I don't know. I don't know.
18. It says that you defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of your iniquities, by the iniquity of your trading. Therefore I brought fire from your midst, it devoured you, and I turned you to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all who saw you. And all who knew you among the peoples are astonished at you, for you have become a horror and shall be no more forever. Wow. That's
Yeah, again, the destroyed makes you think past. But if it is something that has happened in the past, if we're reading the record of something that has, obviously we're reading the record of the destruction of Tyre. But if we're spiritualizing this and we're reading the record of the destruction of some cherub, this is also the fate of Hasatan.
Yeah. Because we know the king wasn't in the garden. He wasn't in Eden with Elohim. So we know that there's a prophetic.
He says, I cast you. Right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah,
so,
verse 13,
King
you know what I'm saying?
wasn't there. Right. So he's obviously speaking beyond that. So there's definitely a metaphoric.
Because even if people try to say,
prophetic.
because even if people say, well, a king would wear, those jewels on a.
No doubt.
He would, no doubt. But was this king in Eden with Elohim? No. That's a far fetch. That's a far stretch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
and he has to be at the midst where is the sanctuary?
Yeah.
It has to be where there's the fire and
yeah.
it says I devoured you.
And of course he's the anointed cherub that covered, right? Who covers.
And yet this is the same destiny it's not just the destiny for the cherubs, for the angels, right? It's the destiny for Hasatan. First, he'll be put in a pit, as we read the order of Revelation. Yeah. But ultimately, his place is the lake of fire. He will be devoured.
Yeah.
And not just him. Where is it? I think it just said here something about his heart.
17. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty.
Yeah. Your heart was lifted up because of your loveliness. And yet our hearts are also lifted up, right? Our hearts are hard is what the master says to us. And what is the ultimate end? What the wages of sin is? Death. Destroyed. Lake of fire.
Yep.
So it's that story of the lake of fire is not new then.
No, what else? That word, I'm just looking it up in the Hebrew lexicon, says his splendor and brightness. So that's another way of saying his beauty.
Yeah.
So his splendor and brightness, and I just laugh because what does it say that Satan comes as an angel of light, right?
Yep.
His brightness. I mean, it's. It
sounds.
The wheels are going as we're doing this,
Yeah, it sounds more to me as though this is a record of something that has happened, and maybe a prophecy of something that will happen. Because certainly, the deceiver or the adversary. We read Zechariah 3 last week, or part of the message for last week.
Yeah, 3:1. Yeah,
and Yehoshua, the high priest, after the Babylonian captivity, in that vision he's having, stands in front of Abba, and the adversary is there, and of course he's the accuser of the brethren. He's accusing them. And then when you forward fast to Revelation, that after the crucifixion, after the death of the Messiah, Revelation chapter 12, war in heaven, and the serpent and his angels are kicked out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the pattern is there, right? It's the same
Yeah.
pattern.
Yep.
There's sin is found in your heart. You lose your place. She's a cherub that's right there.
Mm-hmm.
We have the same pattern. Sin is found in our heart.
Yeah.
And go
And
ahead.
I always wondered, sitting here spitballing in your head like we're doing right now, Satan, right? He's the accuser of the brethren. What's that motivation behind it? Because he fell, and there's no forgiveness for him, but for mankind, there was redemption for us. So he hates us. So he's constantly before Abba saying, "Look at this dirtbag. Look at him. Look what he just did. This is your son. This is your son, Max. And look at it."
It's a
you know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
It's a crazy story. It really is.
Job, he goes before the throne and is like, yeah, just don't kill him. You can't kill him. But
we were going to talk last week about suffering, and when you bring up the story of Job,
mm-hmm.
Because very, very, very often, we've heard this within the religious worlds that we've all come from, that if something bad's going on in your life, there's some sin in you, you've done something wrong, that type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and yet, you read the story of Job, and man, everything went wrong that you could think of.
Yeah.
And yet he was righteous. So,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of different reasons for suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But, better to suffer for righteousness' sake, I guess.
Yeah.
But my goodness, you read the story of Job, and you're like, man, I don't want any of that.
And this is nothing. Nobody read into this, but I'm just saying, the only thing I think he didn't regret was the loss of his wife, because
Yeah.
she wasn't walking in truth. Because what does she say? Just curse God and die already, right? Just curse him. So
Was that the silver lining?
right, that was got rid of her.
Oh, man. Max said that, guys. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That was on me. I'll take it.
But I can see the wisdom of that for sure.
You know?
Yeah. So if this is, again, just, thinking through this, the ultimate end, if you would, for, it seems, whatever angels sin. I know it's kind of a crazy thing to think about, angels sinning, but, we have this concept, this idea that, if they're angels, they got to be perfect. If they are eternal beings,
Mm-hmm.
they have to be perfect. And if Abba gives us free will, why would the angels not have free will?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But the
Mm-hmm.
story isn't about, the story's about the redemption of man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's, I know it seems weird, but he serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It helps to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
But it had to have been their choice,
Yeah.
as it is our choice, as it is your choice, as it is my choice. What
And
are
my
you going to do?
conclusion, and my conclusion is this too. This is just Max. Like I said, you're at the throne. What we're reading, whoever this person was, sat near the throne as a covering cherub, and you still fell. You still had this sin come into you. Can you imagine? You're there at Father's feet, seeing this,
Yeah.
and still, your own desires came over you. Wow.
Yeah, I think that, what does the master say? It's it'd be better for you to not have known,
Yeah.
and sinned and gone your way,
Mm-hmm.
than to have known
Mm-hmm.
and then continued in whatever you were doing.
And he says it in other ways too. You're better off to be cold than
Yeah.
lukewarm, right? Cold or hot.
But there is a pattern to the pattern, because if we're talking about a cherub, an angel
Mhm.
of the highest order, in the very throne room, decked out, the one who's supposed to protect whatever he's supposed to protect, he's
Blinged out, right? He's
blinged out.
definitely-
He's blinged
right.
out, and yet he falls. That same story becomes the story in the scripture as well.
Mhm.
And it gets told multiple times, and it's still being told today in us. Because if we go all the way back to 1 Samuel, I can pop this up here, 1 Samuel chapter 4. And again, I'm thinking about patterns, because that's how Abba speaks to us in patterns and types and shadows,
Yeah.
and so there is a pattern, and it's in It's in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 4. I'm just going to go to verse 18, but just do a quick synopsis of what's actually going on here. Let me pop us both up so everybody can see. So this is during the time of the high priest, who also wears a what?
Mm-hmm.
A big gold chain,
Yep.
right? With all sorts of stones on it.
What is it? The iced out or bling? I'm old. Bling bling used to be the.
Yeah, it was bling. It was bling when we were kids. I don't know what it is today, but so he's decked out in all of these the high priest Eli.
Yeah.
And of course he's got his two sons, working with him, their priests, and his sons Hophni and Phinehas. These guys are just dirtbags. They're just some evil men. And you would read through the story. They were womanizers. They cheated. They didn't do the service at Shiloh at the temple, the tabernacle, the way they're supposed to do it. So here's people, priests, who worked with the coals, because where do the coals come from? The altar.
Yeah.
Right? They walked amongst the coals,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly Eli, the father, the high priest, has access all the way to the ark, right? Once a year he's got to go back there, all the way to the ark, and he knows what his sons are doing. He knows that it's and they go to war, and Eli, his sons Hophni and Phinehas, they take the ark of the covenant from the tabernacle at Shiloh. Abad did not command them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have done it, but they heard the stories of old that they're fighting the Philistines, and if we take the the ark there, we're going to have a great victory, which is, I guess, is the basis for the movie Indiana Jones, right?
Oh yeah,
the original one.
Yep.
The Nazis going after the good one. The Nazis going after the ark because they think it's some sort of a weapon. They thought it was some sort of a weapon, and of course, they get there and it falls flat. Abad does nothing. Armies get slaughtered. Hophni and Phinehas die. The priests die because there was sin in their heart, even though they walked amongst the coals, even though they had access to what was the earthly representation of the throne room of Elohim. They die. And then here it is, picking up at verse 17. It says, so a messenger, the runners come back to Shiloh to speak to Eli, the high priest, who even him himself, when you read the description of him, he's lazy, he's overweight, hasn't kept himself. He's let his sons just do what they want to do. It says, and the messenger answered and said, Yisrael has fled before the Philistines, and there has been a great slaughter among the people. And your two sons have died, Hophni and Phinehas, and the ark of Elohim has been captured. And it came to be, when he made mention of the ark of Elohim, that Eli fell off the seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck was broken, and he died, for the man was old and heavy, and he ruled Israel 40 years. Wow. Yeah. So it's that similar pattern, if you would, of those that have access to the throne room, to the place where Abba's presence is, and yet sin is found in their heart, and at some point, Father's going to deal with it.
Yeah.
And he deals with it, and then you fast forward in the story, right? This happens again. This happens. This actually happens two more times, right? With the 9th of Av, as far as the Jewish calendar is concerned, just happened, the memorial of the destruction of the temple, both temples.
Yep.
Right, both temples, and what was that for? Because sin was found in their heart, and the temple gets wiped out, and then of course at the time of Messiah, same thing, right? You've made my Father's house a den of thieves. And because of that, not one stone is going to be left upon another. The priesthood did that. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, but the priesthood did that. Caiaphas did that. They the sin that was found in their heart. These men who they weren't really supposed to be there, another story, but they walked amongst the stones, right? They walked with the coals. He wore the stones. He wore the ephod, and yet the same sort of thing happens. And the antithesis to the story, at least the antithesis to the story of Eli, And Hophni is that David comes, right? David eventually comes. David secures Jerusalem.
Yep.
David rousts the Philistines, and David gets the ark back.
Yep.
And David puts it in a temporary tent until a permanent dwelling can be made. And so here we are, I think, living the story out all over again.
Yep.
Because what are we? We are the temple of Yah. We are the temple of Elohim.
Yeah.
His
Living
presence
stones.
we're living stones. It's his temple. His presence is supposed to be dwelling in us. And if sin is found in our heart, if rebellion is found in our heart, Saul tells us, he destroyed the other temple. Do you not know that if you keep sinning, he will destroy the temple of Elohim? He'll destroy the temple of God. Our temple, how? With fire.
Yeah.
With fire. And so the answer to all of this is King David comes. King David comes, Messiah, to do what? First, to roust the Philistines. He did. He came, except the Philistines is sin. It's everything we're in. He came to roust the Philistines, and he's going to come back he's going to come back, I think, to really roust the Philistines. The first time is a sacrifice. When he's coming back to roust the Philistines, destroy everything, and restore the presence of Elohim in us and in this world until the permanent dwelling, Jerusalem, comes.
Yeah.
Isn't that an amazing story?
It's awesome. Yeah.
The pattern just, it flows. And you see it over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
So we're living it. We're actually literally living the story. So whoever this is, whatever angel, we're talking about, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I know. I was even thinking, spitballing earlier, just is it one of the ones, like we said, maybe on the mercy seat, on the, the covering angel on there, right? One of those,
okay.
Right?
All right. Yeah, I didn't even think of that about that, right? Because there's the angels that do cover the mercy seat.
Yeah.
I wonder if he lost his position and someone else, another.
Yeah, because that's the whole timeline thing, right? We're trying to.
Here's the other thing. Can angels die? Evidently, yes. Yes, they can. Yep. They may have a much more longevity than we do, and yet if they keep their place, they will continue to live. But if they sin, death is the ultimate end for them as well.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what the lake of fire is.
Yep. The ultimate.
I know. We always kind of read into it, or the whole sort of Gentile Greek idea of just continuing burning and firing and hell, and that the Bible doesn't say the wages of sin is torture forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
The wages of sin is death. And so no, I'm not. I don't think that that's what the lake of fire is. That it's just this continual thing where you just burn and burn and burn. And I know people say, look, the worm will not die. That I don't think that's what it's. I don't think that's what it's referring to. But either way, man, it's not where you want to go.
No.
It's not where you want to go.
Yeah.
So don't be Phineas.
Nope.
Don't be Eli. Don't be Hophni. Don't be this cherub that covereth.
Yeah.
King David has come, and he's coming again. He's coming again. Isn't this something? When King David first came, they rejected him.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Right? His brothers rejected him, even though Samuel anointed him. And the word anointed is Mashiach. Samuel Mashiached him. King David was the Mashiach. And yet they rejected him. King Saul rejected him.
Yeah.
And he had to go out and live in the wilderness. My goodness, the parallels are just it's just one after the other after the other. It really is an amazing story that you just cannot fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't fake. It's so connected, and once your eyes are open to it, and I'm not saying every connection that we're making here is we're just talking, right?
This isn't
we're not saying this is doctrine. We're just saying, hey, this is something to think about. There's some really crazy connections here that maybe help us to understand the overall arc of the story as we go through.
Is there any comments? I don't have any live thing. Anyone
Just a
heading
whole
to the
bunch
Congo.
of just some shaloms and Shabbat shaloms and peace and hello everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. We're gonna if I know we're cutting it just a little bit early tonight, but my back I definitely want to lay down tonight and get ready for tomorrow.
I think we all want to see you up there tomorrow, brother.
Yeah, I'm still nursing this, so yeah, keep me in prayer. I'm about 65, maybe 70% of the way there, but this one was bad.
Yeah, no, I know.
But
I think everyone knows when there's no manna.
Oh man, I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah,
I could not get out of bed. It was pretty bad. So yeah, good conversation tonight, bro.
Yeah, it really was. I tell you, good, stuff like this. We during the week when I read this and me and you were talking about something else, and together we were just like, huh.
No, it's
like,
interesting.
What? Manna. Manna.
Yeah. It makes you think. It forces you to put the story together. And honestly, one of the first things you got to do is just got to read the whole book.
Yeah.
Got to read the whole story. And you don't have to read it once. You got to read it twice, 3, 4, 10, 15, 20. You just got to keep reading it until you really start to understand the arc of the story.
That's right. But well, I'm going to let you go then so you can rest up.
All right, brother.
And I hear the family, we got a new member today.
Oh, yeah, you got your dog. You got
we got a little beagle, 6 weeks old.
Beagle. Yeah, I saw the picture. I saw it before when you had it.
Yeah.
Cute little puppy.
Yeah, he's still all shy, he's not, by tomorrow he'll be running around probably grabbing everyone's shoes. And
yeah, wait till the night when he starts crying and howling.
Oh, my goodness. No. That's what they're known for, right? Beagles.
Oh, yeah, Beagles howl. They howl. For sure they howl.
We were going to name him Sesame. So it'd be like Sesame Beagle.
What is
like
a Sesame Bagel?
But it was a family vote, and it came out to be Rocky.
Rocky.
And then the lady tried to have us get the girl. She has a girl left. And Olivia goes, we can name her Adrian. So Rocky and Adrian.
That's good. That's good.
All right, brother. Shalom, man.
I love you, brother. We'll see you mañana.
Yes, see you tomorrow, brother.
Peace, man. All right, guys, we hope that you enjoyed that. Don't forget, if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell if you enjoyed the conversation. Every time you watch us, whether it's Hidden Manna Wednesdays or on Saturday, if you enjoy it, give us a thumbs up and hit the bell so you're notified each time that we go live. We appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We're looking forward to this weekend. Join us tomorrow morning at 10:45. Thank you again for all the prayers that you guys have been lifting up for me during the week. Keep it up, and I'll we're getting there. And of course, lift up Sister Crystal Farhado. Their family's going through all sorts of stuff there. They really need our prayer. If you guys have the LMC app, if you go to the prayer section, or the praise and prayer section, she put out a prayer request. So, check that out tonight and lift her family up in prayer. They really, really need it. In the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a wonderful night, guys. Shalom.